Thank you all for joining in. And here we go. And I do appreciate all that. Tonight's talk is really going to be about the Santa Monica Classic and a little bit about the Roadrunners and what we're doing. And then afterwards, I will answer a lot of questions and we'll have Q&A as we do every week. So here we go. We have now 27 people online. So again, thanks to all of you for joining in. I always like to start with this occasionally is if you have a body, you are an athlete, quote unquote, from Bill Bowerman, who invented the Nike shoe way back when he was coach at the University of Oregon track and field. And he also coached the legendary Steve Prefontaine, and he was there for 60s, 70s. Probably one of the preeminent college coaches and maybe endurance coaches in the country, one of the early ones who actually got a lot of his information from a guy that one of our past coaches used to work with as a coach, a guy named Arthur Lydiard from New Zealand, who I'll talk about from time to time. But Bill Bowerman actually went to New Zealand and kind of watched what Arthur Lydiard was doing. But for those of you who don't think you're athletes, if you have a body, you are an athlete, quote unquote. Bill Bowerman, there you have it. Whoops, wrong direction. Um, this is me. Um, and this is the book that I co-wrote, one of the Complete Idiot's Guides. It's out of print, but you can find new copies on Amazon and elsewhere around the print world, or you can buy it if you want. I'm not recommending it. It's kind of old. There are certain things I would like to upgrade. You can buy the electronic version for like 10 bucks online. But at any rate, this is me. One of the things that I think is really important, I watch a lot of YouTube videos and they're all so serious. And I got to tell you something. I wish, one of the things that one of the earlier coaches in the United States who is now in his late 90s, a guy named Jack Daniels, who has nothing to do with the whiskey, but he is a PhD in exercise physiology. He coached Ryan Hall, who has currently, decades ago, but currently has the U.S. record for a marathon, fastest ever in from the United States. And a great coach wrote a book, one of the earlier great books called Daniel's Formula. And early on in his book, he said there needs to be something about this sport of marathoning and endurance sports in general, 5K, 10K, whatever, that you enjoy. And as kind of an add-on to all of that, I have to tell you that I read an article in Runner's World magazine many years ago that those people who smile during a race, just smile, whether you're having fun or not, just smiling will give you more energy during that race and will enable you to finish that race faster. So there is something beneficial to just enjoying the overall process. And as you're going to hear me talk about more and more next week, rule number one for me is you need to have fun. So instead of going on and on about, like I hear these YouTube videos that it just make me cringe. We will now teach you how to run a 5K in 1 minute, right? And, frankly, honest, I've had a big mug of coffee this afternoon and I am completely wired. So any second now, it may all go completely to heck. And what the heck, we'll at least have fun. But if you're smiling during a race, yes, you will be a little faster. And also, yes, you will freak people out running next to you who are really struggling and looking over at you thinking, why is that guy smiling? Ugh. Okay, enough of that. Let's move forward. And parking and logistics, we're going to talk about bib pickup. We're going to talk about our 10-minute run on Saturday. Um, uh, the Saturday, of course, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll dive into all of that. The races, the race day start. These times are actually wrong. Do not look at this. Oh, these down here are correct. They're incorrect as well. I don't know why. The kids run is at 10:15. That I got right. We'll discuss all of that and more. Here I got this right. Sunday morning, we'll talk about the Saturday morning 10-minute run in a minute, but Sunday morning before the race, and we'll show a map of parking and all of that as well. This is correct. We're meeting for our picture at 6:20 picture. We're actually going to meet before that. I hope to be there at like, 5:30 myself to put down the flag and all of that. 10K, excuse me, 10K start is at 7 a.m. and the 5K start is at 8:30 a.m. So theoretically, if you can do a 10K in an hour and a half, you could pretty much go crazy and do both. One, I'm not recommending it. Two, you actually have to have a bib number for both. I'm not going to tell you that, yeah, you could probably sneak into the 5K because they'll shoot me. But anyway, if you look at this picture that you're seeing online, the visitor center, which to the left of this picture, there's the old senior center. There's a little building, and across the street, kind of over to your left, is the Santa Monica Mall, and kind of like across the street, sort of, is Broadway, the street that dead ends right into Ocean Avenue. This is Ocean Avenue you're looking at right here. And to the right, if you're, you can see the ocean out in the background off the cliff there. To the right of this visitor information center, the lawn right over here, which you don't quite see because this ugly car is in our way. None of these cars will be here on race day. This is where you'll be running on race day. The streets will all be closed off. No cars will be allowed, even in parking on this street. So do not park on Ocean Avenue race day. Your car would be towed. But over here to the right of this picture, there's a little plot of lawn, and a couple hundreds of us, you will see in a later picture, will be there. Our banner with our new logo on it will be in that area. And that's where we're meeting. I would say, if you could get there like 6 o'clock, absolutely 6:20 picture, be ready to go. Then we will immediately kind of really walk across the street, a little down the street, but really not far, and get in line for the race day start, for the 10K start. Obviously, the 5K start will be later on. The 5K start corral opens at 8 o'clock, where the 10K start corral actually opens at 6:30. But, faster people, you can, yes, you want to get up as close. If you're really fast, you want to get up as close to the starting line as you can, because that's where the people in your competitive group are going to be. But, if you just tell people, I want to, I need to get up closer to the starting line, excuse me, if you're polite about it, they'll usually just let you right in. They're pretty nice about it. Um, so that's the start of the Santa Monica Classic. So, moving forward, this is pretty much what it looks like. This is when the race is starting. Now, this finish line is actually going to be over here this year, pretty much where it was last year. This is a picture taken from like 2 years ago. And the start line is like over here for the 10K, and the start line for the 5K is kind of over here. Over here on this side of the street. The start lines are on this side of the street, and the finish line is over here on this side of the street. The same way it was last year for the finish line, but the course is a little bit different, and I'm going to explain in just a moment. But I thought I'd give you a visual of what it looks like. This lawn right over here to the left is where we're meeting in the morning. And you can see that's the cliff overlooking the ocean, just to give you an idea of the logistics. And right over here, you can kind of see the street is Broadway and the mall is right over here, just so you can kind of get an idea of where everything is. The Santa Monica Pier is way to the left, kind of behind us if you're looking at the picture. Not that far, really. But anyway, just I thought you'd give a bigger picture of logistics. Now, here's the pier. Here is the start and finish. Excuse me. The 10K start is this red octagonal. The 5K start is, excuse me, this black. It's the 5K and the kids start. This black octagonal. The kids start doesn't start till 10:30, but they're on the beach side, and the finish line, this star, is on the opposite of the beach side, but both are on Ocean Avenue. Okay, now, if you're doing last year, this side, if you did the Santa Monica Classic last year, we're going to get into a little more the race now. If you did this, if the Santa Monica Classic last year, you will recall there was a last minute ditch effort to save everybody from just a painstakingly hot race in the mid to upper 80s. I did see people, a lot of people wearing 10K bib numbers on, finishing just after a 5K. So the idea that they had last year really was an important one. It was a valuable, important idea that they came up with. And what they came up with is they got rid of the south side of the course where my cursor is, this whole red area from the number 3, 1, and 2. I'll explain that in a second. They got rid of all of that and they put all of the course logistics, meaning water tables, emergency personnel, all of that stuff. They put the everything. They put all of that stuff from this side of the course onto this side of the course, and they said, okay, run it twice. The 5K is an official distance, but the 10K, because they had to do the U-turn right before the finish line, right before this star, pretty much where the 3 mile is. So you run for 3 miles and maybe almost 3.1, but not quite. You'll recall the 10K was not going to be an official distance because they had the turn around before 3.1 at 3 miles because they didn't want you to go into the finish line because that would have been the full 3.1 and you'd been stuck in a mob of finishers walking, right? So they had to do the U-turn a little before it. That's why the 10K was no longer an official distance or time. You still got a 10K time. You definitely got a 5K time. And a lot of people finished that 10K at 5K because they were just sweating bullets and they just said, I've had enough. And they got their official 5K finish time. And they didn't do the 10K. Okay. This year, we're doing what they intended to do last year before they realized, my God, we're going to have a heat wave and we need to do something about it. You start from the red right there, and you immediately head on the right, the beach side, the ocean side of Ocean Avenue. I'm going to call it well, whatever. The ocean side of Ocean Avenue. You immediately start going south, where my cursor is going. This is the pier. This is, you run past the entrance of the pier, right? And you take a left, and then you head down, I guess, what would this be? Colorado? Then you kind of round the turn onto what is Main Street. And everything on this course, everything from up here where the number 5 is, I'll explain in a second, everything from up there, everything going south to Marine Street is all downhill So from the starting line, that red thing, you're going about about 100 foot drop. It's unseen. There may be a little wiggle 5 feet here and there, but it's pretty much an unseen drop all the way down to Marine Street. Um, then you take a right turn on Marine Street and then a right turn again on what is that, Nielsen Way, and then a right turn again on Pier, and then, pardon me, then what was downhill is now uphill all the way up Main Street, all the way up Main Street, all the way up to mile 5. These are all mile markers. Here's mile 1. Then you go around the bend and you come back up. There's mile 2. And then you keep going up. There's mile 3, all the way up to mile 4, all the way up to mile 5. From the pier to mile 5, the corner, by the way, we meet right here, the Santa Monica group. If you kind of stayed on the course, by the way, Sunday, please do not do this. But if you were a week later on Saturday, not this Saturday, but a week later from this Saturday, on the 13th of September, if you were to go a few feet farther than this race course, the corner of Ocean Avenue and San Vicente, you will see a bathroom, which you could theoretically use on race day if you needed to stop. There's a municipal bathroom right there. But right now, after the bathroom, which you'll see from the course, there are a bunch of picnic tables, and that's where we're meeting for our Santa Monica Roadrunner meetup, 7 o'clock, same as Griffith Park, 7 o'clock in Griffith Park, but they're meeting at Saturday at the Children's Playground, and then Sunday at the Encino Balboa Park. It's the parking lot right near the kind of way back of the parking lot there, right near the Balboa Golf Course driving range. If you know where the Balboa Golf Course driving range is, go there on Sunday, and that's when we meet at 7 o'clock. There will be a potluck in Griffith Park, as there is every week year round, and there will also be a potluck on our first run in Balboa Park. There will not be, as far as I know, though this may be changing, there will not be a potluck the first day of Santa Monica, but we'll talk about that. I'm sure there will be in the near future. And if you want to hang out and meet people, get talk, and you all have something in common, that's headed for the finish line in March for the LA Marathon, or the Rose Bowl half, at least in February. What the heck? Hang out, bring a little dish of something or a gallon of juice or whatever it is, half a pound of something from Ralph's, whatever it is, pre-made, whatever it is. Go to these potlucks. They're a lot of fun, and stay after the initial workout. But that's where we're meeting in Santa Monica, right off the course. Okay, continuing on. From mile 5, this is like I said, it's like this whole thing here is an unseen climb all the way up to the corner of San Vicente, this mile 5, and Ocean Avenue. This is all Ocean Avenue here. This is Main Street. I'm going to talk about Main Street in a second. But from the mile 5 up to 4th Street, used to go up to 11th Street up here, but to 4th Street, the 5K turnaround is only really not very far. It's really about a quarter mile to 4th Street. And you're talking only about, yes, it's a bit steeper. It's definitely noticeable steeper. You're talking only about 20, 30-foot climb to 4th Street, quarter mile. But what does a U-turn, you U-turn, there's an island, and you'll see people on the other side of the street, on the other side of the island coming back at you. You make a turn on 4th Street, you do a U-turn go around the island. And now what was uphill is now downhill. And as soon as you come back to that corner and you're going way down here to the finish line, the star is the finish line. The red, I'm talking the red is the 10K start. The black is the 5K start. Hang on, I'll talk 5K. You now from that corner to the finish line is almost not quite about a mile. Maybe the whole thing from 4th Street all the way to the finish line really is a mile, or maybe a hair over. At any rate, you're talking now all downhill, a good 50-foot drop. I do know this from the corner there is a hair less than a 50-foot drop to the finish line. So hold back, maybe like get up to marathon, 10K race pace on the way down, maybe a hair faster, but listen to your breathing. Don't blow all your glycogen out the window. The higher your heart rate, the more you tap into that limited reservoir. This is my big chunk of my lecture next week. The higher your heart rate, the more you tap into that limited reservoir of glycogen, which comes from carbohydrate. I won't go into that today. And you deplete that reservoir. So you'll end up slowing down your race where you could be going faster, especially using that downhill toward the end, which is such an important element to the race and getting faster and faster times in the overall scheme of things rather than a slower overall time. And it's really what you do at the finish line, not what you do in the first couple miles. And a lot of people will go out real competitive and real fast. And then when you're coming back down this mile, almost mile, hair short, when you're coming down 4th Street, flying down from 4th Street, down San Vicente, this is all San Vicente here, and then you're going down that almost unseen downhill mile from, from the corner of San Vicente all the way to the finish line where that purple star is, where the finish line is, you are going to be passing those people who went out too fast in the first leg of that 10K. So hold back a little bit. Listen to your breathing rate. Your breathing rate is indicative of your heart rate. Your heart rate is indicative of what resource for fuel you're using. And if you're tapping into too much of that glycogen reservoir, that more limited reservoir, not your fat reservoir, which the thinnest person on the planet has a ton of fat to get you through a marathon, let alone a 10K or 5K, that's where you want to be. So pushing it, but not too hard. And then again, you got that uphill all the way from pier right here, all the way back up to mile 5, and then worse to 4th Street. It's almost unseen to mile 5, but then it is a bit of it's definitely a noticeable incline up San Vicente to 4th Street. And then it's like, just go. As soon as you hit that U-turn and go around that island, in your head, say the word with an exclamation point, G-O, go, and then just take off. And you'll have a great, fun race, smiling and pissing everyone off around you as you pass them by gleefully and head for the finish line. Now, 5K. 5K, it starts at the little black octagon, and you don't do any of this south part of the race where you see the red 1, 2, and 3. You're now, and you'll notice a 1 and 2 and then 3 again in black. That's the 5K course. You are now doing the northern leg of the 10K. So you will, toward the end, be passing. There won't be very many because it's an hour and a half later when your race starts. You will be passing a few slow 10K walkers, and they're really not. It's not an obstructive thing. By the way, you may note I'm using the course map from 2024. This was the intended course map of 2024. I will show you the identical map in a second. That really is 2025. It's identical. Anyway, in case you noticed that at the top of the screen. At any rate, um, I cannot promise there will be a whale off the coast of Santa Monica, which is pictured. I think they lied about the whale, but who knows? Anyway, the 5K course again starts with the black octagonal. You're doing the same northern portion as the 10K, same 50-foot climb up to mile 5, and then a little steeper climb up to 4th Street. You turn around the island, and then you are flying back to the finish line. Same exact finish of the 10K you were doing for your entire race. Got it? So uphill, hold back once again, hold back a little bit on the fourth, up San Vicente to 4th Street. But again, once you round that island in your head, you might even say it out loud, go, and then fly back. Good. Okay. With that, we're going to get that in a second. Let me go to, where are we here? Whoops. Let's stop sharing just for a second. And I want to share another thing that I have that I want to show you guys. Whoops. Where are we going? Where did we go here? Oh, here we go. Sorry. Uh, whoops. What am I doing here? I seem to have lost it. I don't know what happened to it. I apologize. Oh, here we go. No. Um, no, wrong. I am sorry. I'm gonna have to edit this thing. Um, hmm. Give me one second. I apologize, you guys. Hang on. Let me stop sharing this thing. There we go. And let me get rid of that. And let me go back to here we go. Oh, I see what I screwed up. There we go. That's it. All right, now let me share. Sorry. I'll edit this thing for when we do the playback. Here we go. Now I can share it. Yeah, I think. Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay. Now you can see the entire schedule. Let's kind of start from this. Sorry about that. Um, Bib pickup, I mentioned really briefly, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. I will be there from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. You will be able to pick up your LA Roadrunner t-shirt on Saturday morning when you pick up your bib, your bib number Saturday morning. There will also be bib number pickup on Sunday morning, which right down here, 5:30 to 6:45 for the 10K, and bib pickup 5:30 to 8:15 for the 5K. After the race on Sunday, you'll also be able to pick up your LA Roadrunner t-shirt. We're going to have our awning, LA Roadrunner awning out there with the new logo, not this logo anymore, but the new logo, which I think I'll show you in a sec. So you can pick up your t-shirt there Saturday or Sunday. You can also pick up your LA Roadrunner t-shirt. And by the way, we will later in the season have a free tank top as well as the free t-shirt that you can get this weekend. Or Saturday or Sunday at any location for the next like 3 weekends after this race for on our training runs at any location, you will be able to pick up your t-shirt. We may have slight limited sizing because I can only put so many t-shirts in my car at one time, where we will have kind of unlimited sizes at the race. But eventually, over the 3 weeks, we'll get everybody their t-shirt. And then we'll also have t-shirt handout. If you missed all of that for 4 weeks, basically, we'll have t-shirts handout at our major events, like when we all meet at Griffith Park, when we all meet at Dodger Stadium, which we'll do. Dodger Stadium, we have huge, everybody showing up in December. And then we do the first 6 miles of the LA Marathon in 2 weeks before the March LA Marathon on the 8th, 7th, something like that, whatever that Sunday is. Um, 2 weeks before that, in February, we'll meet at Dodger Stadium with a lot of people. And we'll have t-shirt handout there as well if you missed everything else. And even race day, at the expo before the race, we'll have t-shirt handout. If you didn't get your t-shirt and tank top by that time, if you missed it the whole season. But there might be limited sizes, so get your t-shirt sooner. Um, Kids Run again is at, well, that's down here. So again, 7 o'clock, 6:20 picture, right? 6:20 picture. 6:30 is the 10 corral. Corrals are open, and 7 o'clock, 10K start. 8 o'clock, 5K corrals open so you can get in the corral. 8:30, 5K start. Like again, our picture will be at 6:20. So right after that, you can jump in a corral and, the corrals will open before that. Um, Excuse me, the corrals will open right after that at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 10K start. Okay. Um, then the kids run is at 9:45. This is the most recent. The Finish Festival is from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The Finish Festival is on 3rd Street Promenade, where our awning again will be, where the packet pickup will be, and also where the food, post-run food will be, and you can get your t-shirt again after the race. All of that is there. This is the t-shirt. It's cotton. They always do that for the Santa Monica Classic. It's a really nice cotton t-shirt. You will get a technical shirt for the Rose Bowl half and a technical, like a running shirt, polyester, your standard running shirt, t-shirt for the Santa Monica Classic, excuse me, for the Rose Bowl half and the LA Marathon. But it's cotton for the Santa Monica Classic because they figured a lot of people have too much technical shirts. But anyway, our LA Roadrunner shirts are both, the tank top and the t-shirt are both running shirts. They're, your standard technical shirts. Parking is all over the place. I actually have a little placard which will enable me to park right at the pier, like at the foot of the pier right here. That's where I'm going to be parking. And then I'll just climb the stairway up and we meet like right up here, right off of Ocean Ave, excuse me. Yeah, right off of Ocean Avenue. And you can see it's like right by the starting line, and near the finish. So that's where we're meeting. Tons of parking all over the place. If you want free parking, you can park south of here, like off of Pico, north of 4th Street. There is a big residential area in there, and then even further south. You can probably find free parking anywhere in that residential area. It's not a lot of restricted parking in that area, especially like 4th, 5th Street, especially, and then south of there. But then you'll have a little warm-up walk or whatever. So there is that. Let me find our new logo if I can find it. Oh, here is the identical course map 2025, identical to what I already showed you. Yes, it's 2025. All right. And then that's about it. I'm not seeing our logo and I thought I'd find it. Anyway, there you go. So that is that. Let's get rid of that. And let's go back to our PowerPoint because I do have some race day things that I do want to talk about. Whoops. Where are we here? Share. And let's go back to our PowerPoint thing. And once again, whoops. And here we go. Whoop. There we go. Good. Okay. So you already saw the course. Now, nutrition. What do you want for breakfast? The night before, it does take like 3 days essentially. And I'm going to do a whole nutrition lecture before a Rose Bowl half and before the LA Marathon. So you get way more, a big deeper dive, a whole 30 minutes of nutrition garbage. Anyway, breakfast, dinner before night before, it does take 3 days and more or less for a meal to fully digest into it. So a couple days before, start eating healthy. That's the nutrition that you're going to be having on race day. But the night before, and especially breakfast the day of, try and get in a little more carbohydrate. Um, that's really the key ingredient, the before. The after is really more about carbs and protein. The old theory, I'm not sure that this holds true anymore, but the essence, carbs and protein is the key. But there was a theory a long time ago that 4 part carbohydrate, 1 part protein is kind of where you want it to be. So if you made like a fruit smoothie with tons of fruit and scoop or two of protein powder, blend it together, and or have a real meal, that'd be kind of where you want to be. I'm not sure that that ratio is exactly science anymore. I haven't heard anything new, but that used to be considered kind of scientific. Somebody did study. I don't know. Anyway, something like that. Yes, 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night this week from here to Sunday morning. I do recognize that you may be nervous and not get a full night's sleep on the night, Saturday night, the night before race day. Uh, Understand if any of you are nervous, and I'm sure a lot of you are already right now, being nervous means that something about this is important to you. Okay. And that's actually a good thing. And I do have a graph that I'll show you later in the season that indicates that having a certain moderate degree of nervous tension, as opposed to panic stricken or lethargic and bored, but having some sense of nervousness about this, having a sense of importance about this will actually give you more energy on race day. And that's actually a good thing. I'll show you a graph that I have that really clearly depicts this. So enjoy the fact that you're a little nervous. Enjoy the fact that this means something to you. Good for you. Figure out a ritual before race day. I'm going to go into this more before the Rose Bowl half in a lecture later in the season. Pick a ritual that you can do before every race that you do. It could be a religious pendant that you just put your hand on. It could be anything. I'll go into that, like I said, later in the season. But find kind of a ritual that makes you feel at home, maybe a little more at ease, but take a moment before the race where you're surrounded by people, or sometime, maybe even before you get into the corral. I always do this before I get into the corral, while I'm in the corral. Just have a little ritual that you do. It's your own little thing that you don't need to share with anybody. Um, and find something that gives you meaning to this point. Um, at any rate, I won't go into that now. I will, like I said, in future lectures. Um, like I already discussed, elevation changes in this race. If it's going to be a really hot day, which it does not appear to be, it looks like it's going to be in like the upper 60s, lower 70s, which will be a little warmer as you progress throughout the day. In fact, let me tell you exactly where we're at today. Weather report for Santa Monica for Sunday is low 64, high. Oh, it's gone up a little bit. Low 64, probably when you arrive, it'll be 64, 65. So it'll be a little chilly when you arrive. 80 degrees will be high through the day, but it won't be 80 degrees. I mean, when you finish, 2 a.m. that's way after you're finished. 11 a.m. the thing kind of ends. 69 degrees. Oh, wait a minute. That's wrong. 11 a.m. Sorry, 11 a.m. That's at night. 11 a.m. It'll be 75 degrees when the slowest finish. really 9 a.m. you're looking at 68 degrees, 7 a.m. 64. So yeah, it'll be a little on the warm side for the slower folk. 72 degrees, 68 degrees. But faster folk, 66, 67, not too bad. Um, Not too bad. Definitely, you're going to want to take in water. There's water tables almost every mile. Um, they will have electrolyte, which doesn't have a lot of sodium in it, which makes it more digestible, and you can take in more electrolyte because of that fact. They can only put so much sodium in it before you're like gagging on salt, in a drink. And electrolyte is, I think most people find it a really good tasting, digestible drink. I haven't heard too many people really who can't do electrolyte, which we will have on the Rose Bowl half and the LA Marathon as well. I like it. I cannot do Gatorade, I confess, but electrolyte I love. Anyway, um, so yeah, find a little ritual. We've already talked about elevation, and you can look up the Santa Monica Classic route just by clicking on um, the LA Marathon, go to the Santa Monica Classic, and all of that. Once again, it's going up San Vicente to 4th, not 11th, as it has done years before. That was a big climb up San Vicente. They've extended it around that little bend at the south part of the course. And anyway, um, I'm not going to get into a lot of this stuff. I don't, we just discussed heat. I don't think that's going to be a huge factor here. But I will discuss goals. Set 3 goals for yourself for this race. One is like a pie in the sky goal. I am going to win my age group. And some of you actually will at the Santa Monica Classic. Pie in the sky goal, a lofty goal like I want to set a lifetime 10K or 5K PR, whether you're a walker, run walker, or a runner. All of this discussion is for all of you, runners, run walkers, and walkers. Set a lofty goal like I'm going to have a PR or I'm going to break a certain time, whether you've done that or not. I'm going to do this. And also have a down to earth goal. I'm going to finish, I'm going to have fun. And like I said, it's really, if you can smile, you're going to go faster on race day. And there really does need to be an enjoyable element to all that you do with marathon training, which I'm going to get into next week before our marathon training discussion. But have a down to earth goal. I'm going to finish. And damn it, I don't care if I don't do the other goals, if nothing else, I am not going to finish cursing my name, looking at my watch like so many people do. Damn it to hell. Um, I didn't make my time. Just enjoy being at the finish line, surrounded by a ton of people, most from all walks of life, all divisions of society, men, women, ages, race, creed, colors, whatever, that you would normally never be surrounded by. But this event, endurance athletics, brings people together like nothing else in society, closing the gap of all of those divisions, and enjoy that moment. You are equal to everybody on the planet because you are surrounded by every imaginable walk of life, rich, poor, young, old, whatever. You are with them at the finish line. You are their equal. And also, like I said, celebrate at the finish line, even if you didn't, do whatever it was that you wanted to do. Oh, you will be running past, if you do the 10K, not the 5K, but if you do the 10K, on the left side of the street as you run down Main Street, on the left side of the street as you're running south, and then on the right side of the street when you're running north, right? Probably about mile 1.5, and then on the way back, close to mile 2, something like that. you will be running past Dogtown Coffee. You know, Dogtown Coffee, in and of itself, they have good coffee. Those of you at the Fairmont last year got to have Dogtown Coffee, and it's really good coffee. I recommend it. A lot of people loved it. We will not be at the Fairmont, unfortunately, this year. It looks like we still haven't really heard back from them, but that's the Santa Monica location. We'll be at the totem pole, at least start with. But Dogtown Coffee, I make this point, that shop on Main Street um, was, if you watch the movie, and maybe it's a motivating film to watch before the race, because this is the area you're running through. Dogtown Coffee was the location of the surf shop where the Zephyr Boys, Z Boys, um, these famous guys from the 70s who really launched skateboarding into a whole new realm that was never really done before. You know, skateboarding, early 70s, these guys are standing straight and looking like martyrs and skateboarding standing erect. And these guys, the Zephyr team, who start met at Dogtown Coffee Shop that used to be a surfboarding shop. These are all surfers. They were suddenly doing surfer moves and they were skating swimming pools, which later on became like skateboard parks. You may notice skateboard parks look a lot like swimming pools, sort of, kind of. This was the 70s, and these guys became famous on covers of magazines, and that's where they met. That was the surf shop in the movie where they met, was now Dogtown Coffee Shop. I highly recommend. There's a documentary called Dogtown and Z Boys, and there is a movie, a scripted movie called Dogtown and Z Boys, both of them made by Sony. But I actually recommend, I think most people do too, the documentary, which came out a little first before the other, Dogtown and Z Boys. You can find it on Netflix and a bunch of other streaming media platforms for free. If you're on any one of those streaming media platforms, you can probably search Google and find Dogtown and Z Boys. That is the neighborhood you're running through. It used to be one of the worst neighborhoods in all of Los Angeles. It's now been horribly gentrified, and the condos are now going for 4 million on the beach. But back in the day, where you see them surfing the once burned down pier at the beginning of the movie, which is not far down the street from that coffee shop, um, right in front of where those two twin towers are now today, right off Ocean Park, which you'll probably see from the street. Um, that whole neighborhood was like one of the worst neighborhoods in Los Angeles. I could go into the history of that if anyone want to know. I love that history. I actually live right now, although we're moving, in one of those twin towers. But there you go, a little history and something you can watch before the 5K, the 10K, really. The 5K won't quite go down anywhere near there. I like to end my discussions with this quote: do not look at where you are today and ask why. Look to the future and all the possibilities that lie therein and say, why not? Especially, I say this quote, it's my quote, but especially, I said it, especially I say that early in the season, really before you've had even begun training. And your training may not give you as fast a 5K or 10K as you may do on Rose Bowl half marathon or LA marathon. You'll probably, if you were to do a 10K before that, you'd probably be way faster than what you are today. We will actually be providing pace leaders in November for the Malibu half marathon, which coincides, by the way, with the 13-mile run that we will be doing on training days. So if you did want to sign up for the Malibu Half Marathon, that some, not all, but a few of our pace leaders will be pacing. I will also be there. We will have an awning at their expo, our LA Roadrunner awning. You may want to sign up, if you want, for the Malibu Half Mar, excuse me, there is a Malibu Half Marathon, We are at the Malibu Moves half marathon. Malibu Moves half marathon. The Malibu half marathon is now kind of just north of Malibu in Ventura County, just over the line. It's a nice race. I highly recommend it. But the Malibu Moves race, which we are going to be at, Moves, is actually at Zuma Beach, where it's been for years and years. But it's a new name as of like 2 years ago. Now Malibu Moves, not Malibu Half, is really confusing. They're both the same time of the year, maybe even the same weekend occasionally, or a week or two apart, or something like crazy thing like that. Anyway, there you go. So do not look at where you are today and ask why. Look to the future and all the possibilities that lie therein and say, why not? I thank you all very much for chiming in tonight. I will see you all at the finish line. Maybe not on Sunday, although I do recommend you may want to come out and watch everybody and get inspired by watching everyone, even if you didn't get in, and also pick up your t-shirt. Like I say, tank tops coming later for free. Um, I will see you all at a finish line. You guys take care. Thanks so much. I am now going to answer questions that anybody has, and I'm going to stop sharing this empty thing. So good. I managed to keep it together for an entire discussion, and I am, for those of you watching the recording, I am going to turn off the recording and say thank you who watching the recording for chiming in. Those of you who are online, I'm going to stay online till all the questions are answered, or you're just sick to death of me. But with that, thank you all. I see some hearts. That's so nice. Hearts are rising up on the screen. I thank you all for watching the recorded version, or those of you at home, hang on and thank you for being on live.